Welcome to Politics Done Right. I'm here at the Bridge Alliance, and we're meeting people of every caliber, including producers. And right now I am with Raj Krishna. How you doing, Raj?
I'm doing great. How are you?
It's a pleasure meeting you. I think we spoke over the email a few days ago or yesterday.
Yes, we did.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Just attended a fantastic conference with the Bridge Alliance, and it was a phenomenal day.
It was great. I mean, the dialogue, the interchange, all of that I found extremely well done.
It was very inspiring. It was incredible to come together with such a large, diverse group of people that want to reform our democracy, that want to make things better for this country.
Absolutely so. Now, anyhow, you are producing a new movie, documentary.
Yes, so I'm a film producer, and I have a number of projects, but one of my major projects, the one that I'm the most excited about, is a documentary. It's a documentary called The Reunited States. And The Reunited States is a documentary based off of the book of the same name by Mark Gerzon.
Yes, I know Mark.
Oh, you know Mark?
Yes.
Wonderful. So Mark is a leader in the kind of bipartisan conflict mediation space.
Right.
This idea that we should try to bridge the divide across the political left and the political right. So the documentary itself is inspired by his book, and we're following a number of people, visionaries that are trying to actively bridge the divide in their communities, across the country, across their communities, activists for peace, people that are trying to bring political reform so that we can make our democracy stronger, so that we can come together as America again.
Right.
So the documentary follows a number of characters. It follows a number of experts that are doing everything ranging from folks like John Gable, who is working with all sides to try to actively bring new technology into the fold, to try to present all sides of an argument as opposed to some of the very polarized media that we have in the country right now, to everyone from people like John Gable to people like Susan Bro, who is an activist for peace, who's been traveling around the country evangelizing messages of peace. So yeah, we have a very diverse range of characters. The documentary's in the completion stage right now. We're in the edit room, and we're hoping to get it out in time for election year, early next year.
So you think it'll be ready?
I think so. I think it'll be ready. It's looking really, really good. I've been working very closely with the director, Ben Reiki. And the reason why he couldn't be here today is because he's literally in the edit room right now. So yeah, we believe it'll be ready in time for election
all digital, right? All digital. You didn't do the old celluloid days.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. Yeah. Most films these days. Well, I shouldn't say most films, but most indie films are done digitally. Yeah. So we've used a combination of Sony FS7 cameras and other types of cameras. But yeah, it'll be released on digital, and we're really excited about it.
Now, tell me, when you release this product, what do you expect out of it? Is it going to be released in theaters? Is it going to be released to different types of groups like we are here at the Bridge Alliance as ways to fundraise? How is it going to be released?
You're asking a really good question. So we're going to do two things. The first thing is we're going to pursue traditional film distribution, which is a combination of working with the traditional sales agents and distributors in the film industry, distributors who can potentially do a theatrical release.
Right.
A lot of films don't get a theatrical, but they still do very well on streaming video on demand.
Netflix
and Amazon and Hulu, exactly. So we're going to pursue all of those angles, which is more traditional film distribution. But then because of the unique nature of this film, because of the nature of the subject that we're profiling, depolarization and trying to bring unity to America, we're also going to be pursuing what's called a social impact campaign. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be trying to hold screenings of the film, for example, at local, state, local, and federal government agencies. We're going to try to hold screenings in colleges and community centers and high schools. We're going to be partnering with the hundreds of organizations that showed up today at the Bridge Alliance to take the film back to their own local communities and their membership bases to try to hold screenings in that way. We're going to try to hold screenings at the UN. So really trying to evangelize the message of the film in as broad of a way as possible. So that's not really traditional film distribution, but because of the unique nature of the film and because of the divided times that we live in, we believe that there's a real desire to hear this kind of message of unity, and we're going to try to get the film out into as many of these channels as we can, because we want to try to impact people's views at scale and try to bring the country together.
I notice you're doing it in a multifaceted way. In fact, that is great. Now, if I were to go out there and try to sell an organization to really promote this film, to go ahead and try to get audience, how would you do it in a 2-sentence type of a promotion?
Great question. What I would say is The Reunited States is a documentary that is profiling visionaries that are actively trying to bridge the political divide in this country. So that's sentence number one. And sentence number two is, I would say, this is a very important documentary for our time, given the politically divisive times that we live in. And this is it's a rare piece of media in that it promotes a message of unity, and it leaves the viewer with active solutions that they can take away and apply in their own lives for how to bridge the divide in their conversations with their friends and their family and in their own community organizing efforts. So it really is a very unique piece of media in terms of not just showing the viewer that this division exists, but also giving the viewer, everyday viewers like you and I, tangible solutions that they can implement in their everyday lives.
I would be interested in giving me an example of two problems and two tangible solutions that you guys have found.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. So one problem is that right now echo chambers are being created where people are talking over each other or talking past each other, and families are being torn apart, whether it's Republican parents and Democratic children that don't talk anymore. So that's a real problem that's happening right now. And one solution that the film presents, specifically in the form of stories that people are living in their everyday lives, where they're actually going out and having conversations with people, is listen. Don't just talk, but listen. Listen to the other side. Search for common ground. And actively try to find common ground and try to understand the perspective that the other person is coming from. Don't just assume that people are evil. Don't just assume that people have an agenda. Actually try to listen. It sounds very simple, right? It sounds very simple and obvious, but it's a tangible thing that you can implement in your everyday life.
It's not that it's simple at all. I mean, actually, that is very difficult. I mean, if you, as a progressive, before I educated myself to a new way of dealing with people, I actually looked at the other side with how could they possibly think that? And the reality is there are reasons why many times they think the way they think. Not all of them justified, just like all of ours not justified.
Right.
So I mean, you have to step back and open your eyes, and I think that is one of the things I've been trying to preach at. As like I said, I do not say that we are very progressive here, but I mean, I'm talking about what politics are, right? Not Bridge Alliance.
Sure.
But at the same time, I acknowledge the importance of having dialogue, and I don't mean having dialogue for the sake of having dialogue.
Yes.
Having meaningful dialogue that I have the possibility that just maybe what you're saying could actually change me, without me worrying about my progressivity, if you will.
Yes. Being open-minded and actually listening with an open heart, right?
Exactly.
So that's one example. And another example is the problem is that a lot of people feel that division is happening to us, that we are being divided by the media or by our politicians. And one of the ideas that we put forth in the film, again through our characters and the stories that they're living and breathing, is maybe the division is happening within us. Maybe there's internal bias that we have. There's internal beliefs that we have that are holding us back from seeing the true picture, from being able to connect with people.
Actually, I don't think there's much question to it being that. I mean, as an example, when Donald Trump spews a certain kind of hate and some people adapt it, in a lot of ways, I don't know what you think, but I thought it was a blessing. And by a blessing, I mean it allowed us to take the scab off. And only after the scab is removed can you see that there's a whole lot of cleanup that needs to be done.
Absolutely. I mean, I think to take your analogy, it's sunlight disinfecting.
There you go.
And
exactly.
And I think that's been one of the blessings of the 2016 election. At least for me personally, I wasn't aware of the sentiments and the vitriol, and just maybe even looking past that, just aware that there is a certain set of people that feel that have a certain set of beliefs that feel a certain way.
Yes.
So to be exposed to that now, to know that it exists, to be able to have those dialogues, none of that would have happened if it were not for the 2016 election. So I think there's always a silver lining here, and it's only going to result in our country coming out stronger and having more unity in the long run.
I believe that, because finally we can just throw it out there and say, well, this is what it's really like, and we can solve it.
Yeah.
We can solve problems. So going forward?
Well, we're working on the documentary. We're working really hard to try to complete it. There's also a number of other films that I'm working on that are not documentaries, that are more traditional horrors or thrillers or drama films. But all of my films have a very strong social justice message. My belief is that media very much like what you're doing, media is a great way to reach people. It's a great way to convey a certain message, and it's a great way to alter the hearts and minds of people. And I'm trying to do social good in the world, so I'm hopeful that these movies will reach the masses.
Well, you know what? Let's give you a plug. Go ahead and tell people how can they reach all your work.
Well, all of these films are in various stages of production, but we're going to start releasing them in early 2020. If you are interested in learning more about my portfolio or the films that we're working on, go to www.california-films.com. California Films is my company, and you can learn more about our projects there.
California-films.com. Don't forget, guys, California-films.com.
And the most important film is the Reunited States, and the Reunited States has its own separate webpage, reunitedstates.tv. So that's www.reunitedstates.tv. And in fact, one thing we're trying to include in the documentary is videos of everyday people and what they're doing. So if you want to submit a 1 to 2 minute video of yourself talking about what you're doing or what you'd like to do to try to bring unity to the country, go to www.reunitedstates.tv and you can upload your video there, and we'll try to include it in our documentary.
Raj Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so kindly for being a part of,
Absolutely.
first of all, the Bridge Alliance, and for this interview with Politics Done Right. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, Egberto. Thank you.
Absolutely.